Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
PGA Championship week is upon us, folks. Welcome into the PXG Custom Studios. You never played golf like this before, period. Matt Adams here with you. Andrew Dom are behind the glass as we're getting you ready for everything surrounding the 107th PGA Championship. I got a message on social media. They're like, oh, why aren't you at the PGA Championship? Because I have to do all the post shows for the PGA Championship. So I'm heading up to NBC Sports this weekend. I'm very much looking forward to sharing that experience with you after whatever will happen will happen. And the question is at this point, what will happen? We'll get into all that. But first, I wanted to mention something. I guess in a way, Dom, I have a bone to pick with you. So you remember your friend, Rasmus.
I got lots of friends.
Yeah. Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson from Denmark. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
I was talking with my buddy yesterday, John McLaughlin, my cousin from Galway area. And I said, hey, John, just giving you a nod. Dom said that Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson was 250 to 1. And in his last 5 starts, at the Qatar Masters, he was second. Puerto Rico Open, he was second. The Valspar Championship tied for 22nd. Volvo China Open tied for 10th. And the Hainan Classic, he was 4th. I don't know. Sounds like it might be a pretty good guy to take a look at it and go, he's on form, right?
Okay.
John's like, all right, yeah, I'll take a look at that. He goes, did you guys talk about this in the show? I was like, yeah. He said, oh. He said his odds have gone from 250 down to 150.
So what, you're blaming me for bringing this to the public's attention?
Yes.
I'm just doing my job,
Yes.
Matt.
I'm blaming you. It would have been kind if you had brought it quietly to my attention, and I could have told my friend.
What are you, a degenerate gambler?
No, I'm not. I don't. I can't. But John can.
Oh, this is terrible.
So he sent me some letters that represented some pretty harsh language.
Well, now he knows all about my harsh language. I played golf with him at Strand Hill.
Oh yeah. I think they said if you didn't curse, you'd be mute. But I just thought you'd find that to be of great interest that Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson went from 250 to 150 because of a conversation or whatever reason. Maybe I'm giving us too much ability.
Hey, we don't know it's because of me. It could be for unknown reasons.
Yeah. Maybe there was another show
and confusing circumstances
from Denmark
There's really
that
no
was
proof.
talking about it.
There's really no proof anywhere, really.
Well, the only proof we have is that he was 250 when we were talking about him, and he was 150 about an hour later.
I'm sorry. What, you want an apology?
Yes.
Talk to the Penguin.
That was actually funny. 107th PGA Championship lies in store. What did you get yesterday, Dom, from the question? You were asked the question who's going to win. And before you tell us, I want to hit everybody with something that we used to do routinely when we were just on the radio side. Those were back in the teletype days. And I used to ask this question. What do you think is going to happen, which is kind of the question of the day yesterday, which we'll get to in a second. I don't know if you still have those. Do you have results from yesterday, or do they disappear?
They disappear, but I remember what they were because today's question, I'm going to ask the same question again.
Okay. Well, maybe you want to modify it after I say the following.
It's too late. I already.
There we go. It's done.
Go ahead.
Die is cast.
It's already done.
Rasmus Nørgaard
I'm glad we
Peterson.
worked all this out in pre-production.
So, here's my question, though. What do you think is going to happen versus what do you want to happen? Get it? Get the difference?
Big difference.
Let's start with Exhibit 1. Penguin Man, Dominic. I think I have a penguin on here, too. Yeah, I do. Mine's just not.
Not so funny now, huh?
Yeah, mine's just not a foot tall and, looking intimidating. And yours looks like it's wearing a tie. I'm not positive. So, I'll start with you, Dominic. First of all, what do you think's going to happen? Don't prattle on. Just tell me what you think is going to happen.
I think Scottie Scheffler.
All right, so you think Scottie Scheffler's going to win. What do you want to happen? And I already know the answer.
I want Rory McIlroy to win.
That's not what you want. You want Jordan.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
No,
I
that's
know what
not
you
true.
want. If I say this to you, you're going to be like, oh, yeah,
No.
I hadn't thought about it.
No,
You
no,
want
garbage.
Jordan Spieth to win the career Grand Slam.
Of course
Do you
I
deny
want him
it?
to do that. But
Do you deny it?
I don't. I want Rory to win. Historically speaking, if Rory wins, it's gonna potentially lead to an unprecedented run. He's already won 3 times this year. He's already won the Masters and the Players.
He's already won here 4 times, albeit not at a PGA Championship, but he's won knows a place.
And if he wins the PGA Championship, he will have won the first 2 majors. And now we're having fun. Like, as a producer, we are having real conversations here. This is fun.
Shocking that
we
you
are now
dropped
into all
Jordan
time
Spieth so quickly.
Incredible stuff. So I want Rory to win.
All right, there you go.
Full stop.
He said it. He wants Rory to win. I'm going to write down Jordan Spieth on my sheet here and then cross a line through it.
Thanks for listening.
The Penguin turned his head when you said that.
Who do you want to win?
Rory.
Who do you think's going to win?
Rory.
Okay. Well, my question of the day is, who will win?
All right.
The PGA Championship.
All right. So what do you remember yesterday in the sound journalistic footing that you're giving this to us on?
So roughly, based on my fantastic memory, it's fantastic, folks. It's really, really good. What's the name of the show again?
Yeah, exactly. You could strain spaghetti through
Scottie
his memory.
Scheffler, yesterday, Scottie Scheffler, and so there's three options, and then the field. Scottie, Rory, and Bryson, who are right now the odds-on favorites in that order. Scottie, Rory, Bryson, or the field. So those are the 4 options.
You could pull up the odds
yesterday,
Andrew, if you want to.
Yesterday, the numbers were like 20-ish% for Scottie and 20-ish% for the field. And then you had, it was something like 30-something% were saying Bryson was going to win. And then the remainder was Rory. So the word was yesterday from you all that you believe
you live in Raleigh
Bryson
now. You can
DeChambeau
say y'all.
will win. Yeah. Bryson DeChambeau will win the PGA Championship. And you can see there are the odds. He is 12-1 right now.
Now, do you think that people were voting on what they want? To my initial question starting the day today, what you think and what you want? So do they think that Bryson's going to win, or do they want Bryson to win?
No, I don't. I think the way that question is worded, Matt, who will win the PGA Championship, that has nothing to do with who you want to win. I'm saying who is going to win, who will win. You have to tell me who is going to win. And they're saying right now Bryson. Now I just started this, so we'll see what this is like at the end of the show, but right now, early in the voting, Rory's at about 26%, DeChambeau's at 24%, and then the remainder are saying the field has got it right now. But it's early in the voting. It just started. So give me like 20 minutes, and those numbers will be dramatically different.
Okay.
But early out of the gates here, they're saying the field has got a better chance, and you can see there the odds. Scottie's 4.5-1, Rory's 5, Bryson's 12-1, and then there's a sizable gap when you're getting into the 20s, 30s, and 40-1. So the odds are saying Scottie, Rory, Bryson. You could probably throw Justin in there.
Are these the odds?
Are
these Monday's odds at the beginning of the week odds, or are these current odds?
These are current odds. We double-checked them to see if they had changed.
Okay.
These are current.
So this is as of Tuesday. Scottie Scheffler at 9-2, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, 4.5-1. I don't know why you.
I just said that. Thanks for
Right. Yeah, well, it really wasn't, to tell you the truth. But why would they do that is my question.
I know you weren't. There's a lot going on, I know.
No, seriously. I'm dead serious. For betting people to know how this stuff works, why would you do, instead of doing 4.5-1, why do 9-2, and then you go to 5-1, and everything else is to 1 after that?
When the odds get really tight, right, like 3.5-1, something like that, they'll tend to do 7-2 instead. They'll tend to go with that sort of format of odds. Keep in mind, this is not American odds. American formatted odds are the plus 1,000, minus 1,000, that kind of stuff, which I think is very confusing and stupid, so I don't use it. That's what I think about that.
All right, so there you go. So if my idiot way of trying to figure this out, 4.5-1 for Scottie Scheffler, Rory is 5-1. it's a tiny differential between them. So that
Correct.
where everyone's making a big deal out of it, saying, Scottie is the odds-on favorite, it's barely an odds-on favorite.
Correct, but he is still the favorite.
Fair enough.
Right now.
Fair enough.
Rory is not the favorite.
Yep. And then Bryson.
Which is surprising to me.
Yeah, except this.
Well, I made some stats pages, and we can talk about it later, which we will. And I think it's hard to. I guess you could make an argument for both, but there's some really interesting stuff about Bryson and Justin too that we'll go over.
Okay, well, we'll get to that in just a moment. First of all, I want to get to what I've been promising you guys this week, and that is how and where you can get your coverage of the PGA Championship. Let's start with the main coverage, call it if you will. This is the live coverage of the event starting Thursday morning. Look at that, 7 a.m. Matt Berry was on the show with us yesterday from ESPN, and he said their philosophy is simple. First tee shot to last putt. So Thursday and Friday, it starts at 7 a.m. These are all Eastern time. And it's on ESPN+. Bearing in mind that all of the streaming coverage, which is featured group coverage, marquee group coverage, and more, can be found on ESPN+. So when we show you ESPN+ starting at 7 a.m. on Thursday and Friday, that also represents a whole suite of different formats, features, coverage, etc. But for the event itself, ESPN Plus has the start of live coverage, if you please. I'm talking about main coverage at 7 a.m. It'll go up until noon. And then from noon until 7 p.m., you can catch that main coverage hosted by Scott Van Pelt on ESPN. Saturday and Sunday, again, reiterating, at 8 a.m. Eastern Time is the start of ESPN's Plus dedicated coverage, and it represents a massive array of different coverage options to suit whatever your fancy is. At 10 a.m., it starts on ESPN, the mothership, and then at 1 p.m., it goes over to CBS, who will carry it up to the conclusion of play on each day of the weekend. If you're on the road, PGA Championship Radio can be heard on Sirius XM. Again, these times are Eastern. Thursday and Friday from 2 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 2 p.m. I've been asking this question a lot recently because it's been kind of popped into my mind. But if coverage is starting at 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. respectively, Thursday and Friday and Saturday, Sunday on the TV side, why doesn't the radio start at that time? And I'm not asking that question to try to poke anybody with the needle, because when I see my friends that do the radio, I'm going to ask that question. I'm just saying it out loud because it's in my mind. If you've got a major championship, why not have live coverage for half the day, up until 2 p.m.? More than half the day is just getting reports instead of just wall-to-wall live coverage, right? Is it a resource thing? Is it a cost to do it type thing? Is it a manpower thing? Is it a technology thing? Because the coverage starts on the TV side at 7 a.m. on Thursday and Friday and 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, right? Why not? But anyway, that's how you can get your coverage, so we can get you started there so you know exactly what's going on. When we come back, we're going to delve into this analysis that Dom and Andrew have put together on various players. Messieurs, Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas is where we're going to start and really kind of dig down into the numbers. What do you think? Because I absolutely believe coming into major championships, form is critically important. And right now, all those names that I just mentioned to you are in some pretty good form. The only one I'm not 100% certain on is Bryson DeChambeau, so we're going to go to the Golf Data guys to find out more about that. But we'll get your reaction to that and more, including Dom's question of the day, right after these words.
Head down. Water down the left, bunker down the right. Take the club straight back.
Wandering minds. When golfers lose their focus, they're totally... But Bridgestone can help. Introducing Mindset. The ball scientifically designed to keep you focused. First, identify your target. Next, visualize your shot path.
And then focus on the green dot and smooth one.
Play the Tour B and E12 with Mindset technology.
See what happens when we work together? Stuff like that.
FlightScope Mevo Plus is the ultimate indoor and outdoor golf launch monitor and simulator. It gives you the club and ball data you need with the accuracy you demand. Mevo Plus comes with ownership of simulated golf courses for you to play and practice at home. Mevo Plus is an essential golf partner to help you improve and understand your game better. Put more purpose in your practice. To learn more and get your Mevo Plus, shop now at flightscope.com.
Innovation has been at the heart of every SuperStroke grip we've ever created, cementing our status as the #1 putting grip on tour. Now the best just got better. Introducing SuperStroke Synergy, our most advanced putting grips ever, for unmatched confidence to quiet your hands and your mind. Find the perfect grip for your game at superstrokeusa.com.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
Welcome back to the Fairways of Life. Matt, I want to kick us off with the weather, and I have a reason for that. The statistics we're going to go over here.
Can't you just look out the window?
I can, but the statistics we're going to go over here in a second are a direct result, the decisions I made, of how the weather is impacting Quail Hollow and likely the tournament. What you're looking at there is the official forecast for the PGA Championship with the weather there. You can see it. I'm going to read.
Well, 1 second. Rain probability 40 to 70% today. What does that mean? It's the only day where they have a range.
No, it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. So, which is fine. This is the extended forecast. The actual words. This is from the Tour's meteorologist Stuart Williams. It's not I'm just gonna read.
I think Stuart Williams is an incredible optimist.
Yes. An upper-level low-pressure system will be passing to the northeast, keeping scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, especially during the afternoon. Oh. By Thursday, the system will finally shift away, allowing drier air to return, along with partly cloudy skies. Dry and hot conditions will continue Friday before showers, the chance for showers, and thunderstorms all return on Friday evening into Saturday as a cold front stalls to the north. Despite the unsettled weather, temperatures will still remain above average late in the week, climbing likely into the high 80s. If you're looking there, you can see 85, 89, 87. It's going to be hot, and it's going to be damp. And you can see about 3 or 4 days ago, they were saying that Friday and Saturday, there really wasn't going to be rain at all, and that they were hoping they'd have 4 clean days. But now you have inches of rain falling in the 3 or 4 days in advance of the tournament, followed by the chance of even more rain during the tournament and most likely on Saturday. So with that as context, Matt, we anticipate the conditions at Quail Hollow to be incredibly soft and the rough to be incredibly wet, thick, and very difficult. So here is what I've put together. I put together the 4 favorites, like a stats page for the 4 favorites right now at the PGA Championship as it stands right now. The first is Scottie Scheffler. Go ahead and bring that in, Andrew. We'll read through it. I've got the odds. And these are the statistics that I thought fit and made sense, Matt.
By the way, Dom, Andrew told me
weather.
that the 9-2 instead of 4.5-1 has its roots in horse racing. Someone wrote in that today.
Fantastic. That's wonderful
There
news.
you go.
So driving distance, I have as a statistic that I think is incredibly important, considering I don't know if the balls are going to plug, but they're not going to roll anywhere. So how far you can carry and get the ball going is going to matter a lot. Scrambling, I think, is going to matter a lot. Greens and regulation, a lot. And then our friends at Data Golf, they have a true strokes gained number, which is a little bit more accurate than the PGA Tour's strokes gained number, which we've used on this program before. And I looked at their off the tee number, their approach number, and their putting number. And then that last category, last 20 rounds, that's the Data Golf's trend table. Essentially, it's how hot is this player globally in comparison to everybody else, including the LIV Tour and all the other tours, et cetera, et cetera. And then obviously their form for 2025. How many wins do they have?
All right, so
if you want to, you can read
just
through that
just
stuff,
for
Matt,
our
and
people that are with us that are listening on the audio side, the radio side, Scottie Scheffler is 9-2, or if you please, 4.5-1. Driving distance 302 yards. That's 80th on the PGA Tour. Scrambling, he is first on the PGA Tour at 71%. All right, critically important stat. Greens in regulation, he's 71%. That's 7th on the PGA Tour. It's very important. Dom, while I'm reading this, I'm going to ask you to go in and get me another stat. Get me a stat for all of these players in terms of where they rank on shots to the green from outside of 200 or more yards. All right, 200 or more yards. All right, strokes gained approach, or true strokes gained approach, as Don was talking about. Scottie Scheffler is plus 1.33. True strokes gained off the tee, he's also positive, about 3/4 of a stroke, plus 0.76. True strokes gained putting, we're talking about Scottie Scheffler here for a second, folks, that is plus 0.62. I bet that would surprise many. Okay, trend table. Last 20 rounds, true strokes gained, plus 3.34. That trend table is compared to any other tour. That puts Scottie Scheffler at plus 3.34 as number one globally by comparison. It's a really, really important stat. And you guys already know my personal feeling is that it is critically important in what your form is coming into a major championship. The other stat, and he also lists wins this year, Byron Nelson in May for Scottie Scheffler recently. The other thing that I think is important is total driving, because total driving takes into account accuracy as well as distance, and I think that's going to be big this week. Don, were you able to find a stat for Scottie Scheffler with approach shots to the green from outside of 200 yards in his ranking?
Yeah, he's 9th on the PGA Tour in that category at 47 feet proximity.
Wow, 9th on the PGA Tour. Okay, that is huge. All right, let's go to next on the odds. Rory McIlroy is 5-1. Yeah. His driving distance is 319 yards. He's 3rd on the PGA Tour. So, Dom, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Grab for Rory McIlroy his approach to green from outside of 200 yards and where he stands. I would like to know his total driving as well. But again, to reiterate, total driving is not only distance, but it's also accuracy. Scrambling, Rory is 69%. That is 6th on the PGA Tour. So the first one, he's 3rd in distance. He's 6th in scrambling. Greens in regulation, he's 37th on the PGA Tour. That's 69%. True strokes gain approach, 0.78. True strokes gain off the tee, 1.07. True strokes gain putting, he's plus 0.59. Interestingly, would it surprise you when I tell you that Scottie Scheffler, who we've seen struggle with his putting so far this year, struggle from the standpoint of the ball not dropping. His stroke actually looked good, but he was burning a lot of edges. His true strokes gained putting is actually better than Rory's, but Rory's nonetheless is still positive. almost 0.6 of a point. Last 20 rounds, probably the most important stat on this that you can see in this graphic that I'm reading to you guys again for those of you that are listening on the audio side, radio side. True strokes gained plus 2.81. That is extremely good. Good enough that as a global comparison, remember this crosses across every tour. He's second. And he has 3 wins so far this year at Pebble, at the Players, and at the Masters. Very, very impressive. Okay, Dom, let me bump it back to you again. Did you have a chance to find his ranking outside of 200 yards for Rory McIlroy?
I did, yes. Rory, outside of 200 yards, his proximity is 48 feet. He's 25th.
Still
on the
very,
PGA
very
Tour.
good. The reason I'm asking that question is that, to Dom's point, that very, very wet fairways don't give. You don't get a lot of bounce. You don't get a lot of roll. So it tends to be where your carry is. There are 5 par 4s that average in the vicinity of 500 yards. 2 of them are less than that. 3 of them are that or more. So in the vicinity of 500 yards. 5 of the par 4s. That's before we can get into talking about the par 5s. So this is a golf course that's going to play long. It can play in excess of 7,600 yards. We'll see exactly how they set the whole thing up, but that's what it's capable of. Last time the PGA Championship was there, as compared to when the PGA Tour plays there every year, the field was over 2 strokes over par. And normally when the PGA Tour is there, they're less than 1. It's about 3/4 of a stroke. So it's almost a stroke and a half harder when the PGA Championship was there in 2017. That's just a major championship setup. That's why we're asking these questions and doing this kind of analysis. There's going to be players coming into greens with a lot of long irons and in some cases hybrid or more. And I'm talking about some par 4s now with this consideration. Okay, total driving for Rory McIlroy. Did you get a chance to look at that one?
Yeah, total driving for Scottie Scheffler is 11th on tour. Rory is 82nd.
Interesting.
On the PGA Tour.
Interesting. That's a little crack in the ice right there between the two. Okay, let's keep on going down this line. Let's talk about Bryson DeChambeau. Bryson DeChambeau is picking up strokes off the tee with his strokes gained. He's about 30 yards past the average, too, on that. Okay, so Bryson DeChambeau, again, I'm going to read the graphic that's on your television screen for those of you that are with us on the radio or audio side. His odds are 12-1. Current odds, that's as of this morning. Driving distance average is 333. That's first on the LIV Tour. His scrambling is 66%. That's first on the LIV Tour. His greens and regulation, 71%. That's fifth on LIV. That is a formidable combination. You're the longest, and you're fifth in GIR. And then when you don't hit the green, you're scrambling, you're first. True strokes gain approach. Just under. He is negative 0.18. Okay? Significant. True strokes gain off the tee, that's what I was telling you. He's just under 2 strokes. Positive, obviously. A true strokes gain putting, he is positive plus 0.24. Now, of the 3 that I've mentioned to you so far, that's the least. Scottie was about 60-70% of a stroke to the positive. Rory was about just over half. And Bryson is at just about a quarter. Okay, last 20 rounds, though. This shows his form, not averages. True strokes gained, plus 2.73. Can you believe he is third globally? So the odds makers have Rory as Scottie as number 1. And in terms of his current form for the last 20 rounds, he's number 1. They have Rory at number 2. And in terms of his form for the last 20 rounds, he's second in the world. They have Bryson at number 3. And in terms of where he stands his last 20 rounds, he's third globally. Can you believe that, the way these guys nail this stuff down? And Bryson's coming off a recent win on the LIV Tour, too, in Korea in the month of May. So very interesting stats there. Okay, let's talk about Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas's odds are 18-1. His driving distance is 305 yards. That's 51st on the PGA Tour. Scrambling, he's 60%. That's 103rd on the PGA Tour. Scrambling is going to be critical this week because they're going to be hitting in from a long way oftentimes. They're going to be able to dry out the greens. They won't be able to do it on the surface level, but they're going to be able to get some bounce into them. So he's 103rd on the PGA Tour. That hurts JT. Greens in regulation, he's 68%. That's 44th on the PGA Tour. That stat combo right there, those three lines that I just said to you, are okay. They're okay. But again, they're based on a season average. When we get to the point of where he stands in terms of current form, the trend, that I think is going to be even more important. But we'll get to that in just a moment. True strokes gain approach, he's positive, almost one. It's plus 0.98. True strokes gained off the tee, he is plus 0.09. So he's virtually level with the field. That's not great. That's not great. And I'm going to ask Dom the same question about total driving and his ranking of approach shots outside of 200 yards. His true strokes gained putting, he's positive 0.55. It's anything positive on that is okay. Because for these great ball strikers, if they are great in that given week, they only need to be average with putting. Because that's how good they are with the stick. But his greens in regulation, 44%, would need to improve this week. His scrambling has to be better. His 2025 wins, he won the RBC Heritage in April. Here we go. Last 20 rounds, which is, again, I'm conceding this, to me, is the most important stat right now. True strokes gained, plus 2.47. Justin Thomas is fourth globally. Fourth. Amazing. Just amazing. All right, Dom, so what do you got in terms of where JT stands with those two other stat areas, if you would?
So he is 62nd in total driving, and he is 51st on tour from the approaches outside 200 yards with a proximity of 50 feet. I just wanted to add some context to that particular stat. Scottie was 9th. Rory, obviously we don't have that number for Bryson DeChambeau because he doesn't play on the PGA Tour, so he's not statistically available. But Scottie's 9th, Rory's 25th, JT's 51st on the PGA Tour in proximity outside 200 yards. But the difference in proximity is 3 feet, which my hands can almost fit that on this screen. So contextually, these guys are so good that top 10 on tour and top 50 on tour is 2.5 feet.
Right.
I mean, it's nothing. From that distance, that's really not a lot. So I'm not disputing that 51st is not as good as 9th. I'm just saying that it's not like Justin is missing greens from that distance by 20 feet further than Scottie is. I mean,
well, there's another way to take a look at all this, because I keep on reiterating the fact that the numbers we're giving you are based upon a season's performance. And what we've seen with Justin Thomas is that he may not be as consistent, or if you please, consistently great as the players just in front of him, but he has been great this season. Let me show you what I'm talking about. And this is just this season. I'm going to give you all of his finishes. At the Century.
Andrew, put Justin's stuff back up there. The stats for Justin.
At the Century, JT was tied for 26. At the American Express, second. He leads the PGA Tour this year in second place finishes. AT&T Pebble Beach, tied for 48th. See what I mean? That's where his averages, all of a sudden, something just wasn't clicking. Not that tie for 48th on a regular week is all that bad, but compared it to 26th and second, it is. WM Phoenix Open, tied for 6th. Genesis Invitational, tied for 9th. Great. Arnold Palmer Invitational, tied for 36th. Players Championship, tied for 33rd. Right now, the Players Championship rounds will be in as part of his current trend, remember, because it's 20 rounds. So if I'm just curious, if we took that out, how much would it improve his performance in the following? Valspar Championship, second. Masters Tournament, tied for 36. RBC Heritage, 1. Truist Championship, second. You see what I'm saying? So it's just interesting to take a look at
Can Andrew, can you put Rory back up? I have a question for you, Matt. So if you're looking at Rory's stats here, one thing that is not on that stats page, if you're watching on television, is I don't have his finishes at Quail Hollow. Because he's won there 4 times in multiple different situations. I'm just wondering, for a player at his level who's on form, the way he is on form, second globally, 3 wins this year, including the Masters and the Players, how much stock do you put in the fact that Rory McIlroy, again, the players use this phrase a lot, Quail Hollow clearly fits his eye.
Oh, yeah.
How much does that play a role in how high you put him? I think he can win because of X, Y, and Z. Where does that fall in matter?
Well, in terms of giving the context, as you phrased it, to this discussion, he's won 4 times at Quail Hollow, as noted. He won in 2010. I was actually doing radio at that event. I remember asking the producer, I said, hey, do you mind if I hang here and just watch this finish? And I crouched down underneath at the time that the green cameras from CBS were those huge studio cameras that somehow they carted out there. So I was sitting underneath that huge camera, kind of hiding away and watching him make that massive putt to take down Phil Mickelson. He won again in 2015. So
incidentally, Matt, that was his first win ever.
I think he shot a 62, if memory serves me, in that final round.
He did.
So in 2010 and 2015, his first 2 wins, I almost don't think as a modern player, even if you were talking about saying, hey, he's won there twice. Well, 2010 and 2015 were a lifetime ago. And they were also the bookend years of his major championship run until this past April. However, he won again in 2021. He won again in 2024. In fact, in 2024, he took down Xander Schauffele by 5 shots. So to Dom's point, you do have a player here that's very comfortable with, again, now you're going to start to talk about setup as compared to a major and a PGA Tour event. Major championships are going to have thicker, denser, longer rough. Generally, they might give him a haircut at the beginning of the week, and that tends to be it. Right? That's step one. At major championships, what is the phrase that the PGA of America likes to use? If I'm not mistaken, I think they say championship speed. They never really tell you what the speed is of the greens, but they tend to be a tick or 2 faster than at a PGA Tour event. So you're talking about deeper, thicker, harsher, more gnarly rough. Could be tighter as well in terms of where the primary rough kicks in. Green speeds that are ticked up a little bit. And then there is, as you can see, if you're with us on the TV side, you're looking at a picture of the 18th green and that stream that runs down the middle of the fairway. Pick your side, right being the safer side on it. But there's trouble around these greens. The way that Tom Fazio designed them, the way that a lot of them have that kind of, call it a North Carolina design, even if it was inspired by Donald Ross at Pinehurst, there's this drop-off. These aren't cupped as much as those, bottom of a saucer. But they do have that trouble that you can roll off into. That trouble tends to be a little bit hairier for major championships. I would normally tell you that for a major championship, they're not going to give the grass as much water. The ground's going to get harder, faster, bounce more, but Mother Nature has other plans for that right now. Dom, is it raining right now where you are in Raleigh? You're 2 hours away in your studio?
Yes, it's on and off right now. But yeah, I mean, it's very cloudy and gray, and it's going to be raining all day. I think right now, this second, it's not raining, but it was raining an hour ago.
Okay.
And it'll probably rain an hour from now.
So to sum this up for me, to Dom's question, when you have a player, I think he may have even used the phrase, does it kind of suit his eye? When you have a player that's playing at a golf course that they've had great success at multiple times over different chapters of their career, and the most recent event that was played there with world-class, world-caliber players, that even if the course is set up different, playing differently, etc., the initial sight lines, start lines for these players tend to be about the same. It's going to adjust based upon winds, etc., but you know what you're looking for. You know where you want to start it. That's the thing where it suits the eye. Versus if you have a player at a place like, say, Stadium Course, where the Players is held, which Rory's the defending champion of that. That's a much harder course by accounts for players to get comfortable with in terms of their start lines because of the way that Pete Dye plays with your head. Right? Where he deceives you into believing the line that you need to take is a safe line that may get you in more trouble or give you a harder second shot. Where and when he gives you the safer line, it definitively is a more challenging second shot. So Quail Hollow has plenty of challenges to it, but what we're talking about here is a player that has comfort with their sight lines, where they want to go, where they want to hit the respective shots, and that is very, very powerful. He's not the only one that's going to have that. We haven't talked too much about Xander, but Xander's played extremely well at this event. As mentioned, he was the one who finished second to Rory McIlroy. Rory won definitively, but nonetheless, the guy that was next in line was Xander. And it's not Xander's first high finish at Quail Hollow. Obviously, when you're talking about Justin Thomas, he's won a major championship, this PGA Championship, at Quail Hollow. Will it be set up the exact same? We don't know because of the weather and the impact and all the rest, but that's an interesting speculation that will answer its own question very, very soon. All right, coming up with more on the Fairways of Life show. Stay with us on this Tuesday as we're going over everything surrounding the PGA Championship. I'm really curious now that the question's been out there floating for a while, where you guys stand on the question that Dom asked today as to who do you got for this PGA Championship. And then I'm going to augment that question with what I talked about in segment one, which is to say, okay, if you tell me what you think's going to happen, and is what you think is going to happen, does that match up with what you want to happen? Do you know what I'm saying? With that, Ben Hogan Golf is back, stronger than ever. We are very proud to be representing the iconic name of Ben Hogan. When you get a chance, log on to benhogangolf.com and check out their current product line. You're talking about their Icon irons, their Fort Worth Combo irons, their Legend irons, their Fort Worth MB irons, their Fort Worth CB irons, the M5001 irons, PTX Tour irons, and more. Whatever you're looking for your game, you can find. And here's the beauty of it. How would you like to be able to say to your friends, oh, yeah, Ben Hogan Golf is my tour truck. My relationship with them is direct. There is no middleman. Yes, that does mean that you're going to save money, which is great. I'm all for that. But I love the fact that you're talking directly with the people that are building your golf clubs. Check them out today. benhogangolf.com. Back with more.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct consumer pricing. exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
At PXG, we believe you get more out of your golf clubs when you're custom fitted. This ensures that every PXG club in your bag is completely dialed in to deliver maximum performance for your swing. Golfers of every skill level should go through this process, and PXG's judgment-free fittings will make sure you're completely comfortable and satisfied. Book your fitting and see what we can do for your game. PXG, you've never played like this before, period.
Innovation has been at the heart of every SuperStroke grip we've ever created, cementing our status as the #1 putting grip on tour. Now the best just got better. Introducing SuperStroke Synergy, our most advanced putting grips ever, for unmatched confidence to quiet your hands and your mind. Find the perfect grip for your game at superstrokeusa.com.
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. You know, Hub's Peanuts has been cooking up the top 1% of peanuts for over 70 years. And these aren't your average nut. These are super extra large Virginia peanuts cooked in the USA. Family-owned Hub's Peanuts have more protein than any other nuts. So whether it's a boost on the course or a special gift, the variety of flavors guarantees Hub's Peanuts is just what you need. Family-owned, nutritious, delicious, and sustainable. Hub's Peanuts, it's just right. HubsPeanuts.com.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
As we welcome you back to Fairways Life Show, it's a pretty shot of Quail Hollow right there. That's looking at the 17th green. You can kind of see the tee box up there to the right. And they have some variances in terms of where they want to put the tee. This shot, is this our man here? Where'd we get this photo from? Oh. It's PGA of America credit on this one. But that shot, the angle that it's taken on doesn't really show the way the green undulates. It's got kind of a rib in the front and back, a valley in the middle. It's a pretty tough green. I don't know how much that's going to be a factor with all the rain this week. So Andrew Dom in the break told me that Tommy Fleetwood is his pick. He's 35-1, Tommy. Are you able to pull up where he stands with his trends?
Yeah, he's not at the top. I mean, he's probably in the mid-20s or lower in terms of his trend in comparison to the rest of the world globally.
Yeah. Your enthusiasm for Tommy Fleetwood is just overwhelming, Dom. So
I'm just saying he's not. You're asking me if he's on the top of the list. I'm saying he's not on the top
I
of
will
the list.
tell you this, in terms of trends, if you measure them by finishes, RBC Heritage, he was 7th at the Truist Championship last week. He was tied for 4th. Kind of in your face there.
21st at the Masters, 62nd at the Valero.
He was tied for 21st
at
at the Masters, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's not – in comparison to Rory, win, 5th, 7th. I mean, there's a big difference there, Matt.
Okay. Dom is definitively anti-Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
It was clear. It's pretty damn clear.
But this is.
I was like, what's his trend line? You're like, oh my God, you can't believe it. He's awful. He's like 20-something.
I wanted to read this because we talked about Rory at Quail Hollow being like his place. These are his finishes when he hasn't won. 5th, 8th, 16th, 4th, 8th, 10th, runner-up. He loves Quail Hollow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's outrageous. Justin Thomas, pretty solid, too. 21st, 14th, 25th, 21st, 7th, all at Quail Hollow at the Wells Fargo over the last whatever number of years. So, also a guy who seems to like the track, although he hasn't contended inside the top 10 in years. But interesting nonetheless. So you want an update on the question of the day, do you?
Yes, I do. Please.
Who will win the PGA Championship? It's days away. Scottie Scheffler, Rory, Bryson, or the field? Right now, Scottie Scheffler, 20%. Rory McIlroy, 20%. The field, 25%. And for the second day running now, Matt, Bryson DeChambeau is 35% right now. It's 2 days in a row that our audience has taken Bryson DeChambeau over everybody, including the field.
Well, again, when we went through his, could you throw his stat back up there, Bryson's? When we went through what I think is the most important stat coming into this major is his last 20 rounds, his trend. True strokes gained, plus 2.73. He's third in the world. So he's clearly on just smoking hot form right now. And then on top of that, he's Bryson. That can do Bryson things.
Again,
he's going to have more length than everybody else on a soft golf course. What's that?
Yeah, but if you read between the lines there, right, like his strokes gained his true strokes gained approach is like, but his scrambling is first on tour. So he's going to bomb it further than everybody else. He might not put himself in the perfect position when he gets towards the green, but he's literally first in scrambling.
Well, he's first on his tour.
So he checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. He checks a lot of boxes.
He does, but that's Bryson. That's what makes Bryson fun, and that's what I was kind of alluding to yesterday when I was talking to Matt Barry, who's one of the hosts from ESPN for this week, which before we sign off today, I'm going to give you airtimes as well. Can all of us remember a time when so many of the world's top players were playing their top golf coming into an event? Right? So you got Bryson, he just won. You got Scottie, he just won. You got JT, he just won. You got Rory.
I mean, it gets better if I'm looking at this list. Like if I go through the top 15 globally in the trend table, if you will, from Data Golf, who is playing their best golf right now. These are the names in the top 15. Scheffler, Rory, Bryson, JT, John Rahm, Joaquin Niemann, Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa. Patrick Reed is on this list. Surprising. Daniel Berger is on this list. Russell Henley's on this list. I mean, it's not everybody, but it is. Patrick Cantlay's on the list towards the bottom. He's around 16th right now. I mean, it's not everybody, Matt, but it's kind of like almost everybody.
Do me a favor, Tom. When I was asking about total driving and approach shots from outside of 200 yards, can you tell me who's leading in those two categories?
Yeah, I can tell you. All right. You wanted, what do you want? You want off the tee? You want total driving. Total driving. Rico Hoey, who I don't even know if he's in the field. If I'm looking at the top 10 here, names that stand out, Daniel Berger is 7th. Taylor Pendrith is 3rd. I don't know if Taylor's in the field. I'd have to double check that.
Rico is in the field. Who'd you just?
Scottie Scheffler is 11th.
Who's the other you just asked me about?
Daniel Berger is 7th. Victor Perez is 6th. Taylor Pendrith is 3rd. We have to check to see if those players are in the field.
I will confirm.
Not massive names there.
Taylor's in the field.
You wanted approach from 200.
Taylor's form coming in hasn't been great. He did have a tie for 5th at the Texas Children's Houston Open. He was cut at the Masters. RBC Heritage tied for 42nd. Cut at the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson, and 65th. That means he's probably just finished. He just got inside the cut and then didn't have a great weekend or some combination thereof. Truist Championship.
Approaches from outside 200 yards on the PGA Tour. Kurt Kitayama is number 1 on tour. Eric Van Rooyen, number 3.
Oh.
Lucas Glover's number 5. Ludwig Oberg is number 6.
Oh, Ludwig.
Daniel Berger's number 10th. Daniel Berger's on 2 of these lists, Matt. And he's trending. Where's that trend table? Daniel Berger is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th in the world right now. 11th, 3rd, 21st, 30th, and 20th in his last 5 starts. He's averaging almost a full 2 strokes better per round right now than the average player in any given field.
Yeah, and his best finish this year, he had that tie for third that Dom talked about, RBC Heritage,
And
but he was tied for
10th,
second.
he's 10th on tour in that outside 200 number, and he's 7th on tour in total driving. Just saying. Andrew, what are his odds? Put the odds up. He's got to be on that list. Where are the odds?
They're about to go down.
Daniel Berger. Do you see him on the list, Matt? I don't see him on the list. Hold on. I'm going to go to the source. Stand by, everybody.
How could you not have him on the list?
Well, his odds must be crap. Stand by.
70-1.
We're about to bring someone else's odds down.
Yeah, there we go.
Stand by. All right, hold on. 70-1. Andrew didn't put him in there. He's 70-1 right now.
Andrew just said, my bad.
Interesting. My bad, Andrew says.
Yeah.
Not acceptable, Andrew.
71.
Right, so
although I will tell you that before we spoke about him.
We should bet on him right now.
He is one that I did speak to my cousin John about.
Oh, did you?
Just to help the guy out.
You know a guy?
Yeah, no, I'm just helping. I'm just helping him out just a little bit. It was like.
All right, let me read a few comments coming in because there's plenty coming in here. Comments coming in. Remember the question of the day: who will win the PGA Championship? It's hard to go past Scottie, Rory, and Bryson. All are in form, and they're the best 3 in the world right now, as I think we've showed statistically that to be pretty accurate.
And you got to throw JT in there too. You got to, in fairness.
Yes. The humidity this week is going to make it feel really, really hot. Are there rain statistics for golfers? That's an interesting question. I don't know how you would get a rain statistic. How you played in the rain, I guess. I'm not tracking.
Well, poor weather players, mutters. Yeah.
This course is going to play blankety long.
Of which I could tell you JT's pretty good at sloppy conditions. But go ahead. Blankety long.
And then we've got some people weighing in. I think Bryson's a good chance this week. I think JT is a great choice. I take JT this week. If he can straighten out his driving, he's going to impact everything. Derek writes, it's McIlroy Country Club. Yeah. Johnson Wagner on Golf Channel said he's a member. He said they planted a thicker type of grass for the rough for this year's championship. Interesting. So now you make that already thicker grass even wetter and worse. You're going to have some rough issues there. I want Spieth to win the Grand Slam. That was not me who wrote that. That was a listener.
Well, what was the name? I want to know what your burner account is.
Derek wrote that. Derek wrote that. I don't think Tommy Fleetwood putts well enough. Tommy is sadly trending towards one of those unlucky players that will never win a major championship. How come no one is talking about Xander Schauffele? Someone said.
Good
Berger
point.
will make the Ryder
Although
Cup
we
team.
did talk about him, but go ahead.
Yeah, Berger will yeah, so there you go.
Let me see what Xander's current
And
trend is.
There's more stuff, but let's see if it's changed.
Yeah,
here.
Xander at the start of the year coming back from the injury from the
DeChambeau. Everyone still says DeChambeau's going to win. That's wild to me.
He's incredibly capable of it. The Valspar Championship, Xander finished tied for 12th. The Masters, he was tied for 8th. That was quiet. The RBC Heritage tied for 18th, and at the Truist last week, he was tied for 11th. And as I mentioned, he was runner-up last year. He's had other high finishes there, too, but he was runner-up to Rory last year, but Rory won by $1 million because he just was playing great. So, all right, before we go, let's give you the air times one more time so you guys know how, when, and where you can see it. The coverage of the 107th PGA Championship from Quail Hollow starts Thursday at 7 a.m. on ESPN+. Remember, ESPN+ has a full suite of dedicated streaming coverage channels, including the main coverage from 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Same time on Friday, and at noon, it kicks off on ESPN as well. Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. on ESPN+, and once again reiterating, it is a full suite of coverage, feature group, marquee groups, etc. 8 a.m. Eastern Time, up until 10. And the reason why we segment the 10 o'clock portion is because that's when ESPN's coverage kicks off. The streaming coverage channels dedicated will continue on ESPN Plus. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern time in the afternoon, CBS picks up on both Saturday and Sunday and carries us to conclusion. PGA Championship Radio can be heard on Sirius XM in the USA. I do not know off the top of my head if it's going to be available on the PGA Championship app, etc. Usually it is, but you'll have to check that out. Thursday and Friday from 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday once again from 2 p.m. Eastern time until the conclusion of play on both Saturday and on Sunday. We'll be back with you again tomorrow to go over even more, getting everybody ready for the PGA Championship and having some fun along the way. Hope you guys have some fun along the way. Until we are together again, be well. Goodbye for now.